Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. Today I'm taking a look at some new releases from Beacon Models. So join me on the workbench as I get stuck into this. So Beacon Models is a relatively new manufacturer in the UK, and you may remember that previously we took a look at their initial release of their Bf109 and Spitfire kits in 144th scale, but now there are some new ones. So in comparison to the previous offering, we now have different box sets. So in the first box set here, you can see we've got a Bf109E3/4, and it says that it's 144th scale, and we've got two kits included in the box. So there's two Bf109s. On the bottom here, it says there's premium decals and canopy masks. And if we flip to the thin edge here, we can see we've got a tooling date of 2021 and a release date of this particular boxing of 2024. It says that the parts and packaging were manufactured in the UK. The decals come from Italy, which is no surprise because they're cartograph decals, and the masks come from the Czech Republic because they are manufactured by Pewit. On the back of the box, we've got an item code down here for this one, which is Mk.1, and you can see we've got two different paint schemes. So naturally, one paint scheme per model that's included, and we've got color callouts down here as well. I haven't actually got into the box on that one yet, but we will very shortly. The Spitfire, on the other hand, another lovely artwork. They both have great artwork on the front there. I know this one for definite is done by Mark Postlethwaite. I believe this one may be one of his as well, but it hasn't got his signature on the bottom. Two kits in here, same deal as before, same tooling information and same masks and things. But on the back here, you can see we've got two paint schemes, both of which are included in the kit, but as mentioned, you get two Spitfires, so you'll have to build both of them unless you have extra decals. So very quickly, I'm going to look inside the box because I believe the contents of the box are the same effectively as were viewed previously. The only difference being that you'll have two Spitfires in one box and another two Bf109s in the other box. So let's have a quick look. Instructions here, printed in color, lots of information at the bottom there. Instructions look to be very much the same as they were previously in the Beacon Models video that I did. If you want to take a look at that one, I'll link it down below. So I'm not going to dig too deeply into this because they're basically the same. The only real difference here is that we've got one paint scheme here and the second paint scheme there. So two different schemes. And then we've got our bag of bits. In here, we've got our two sprues, which I'll very quickly take a look at. There we go. So they will be identical. There's our mask information. So two sprues. As we looked at previously in the previous unboxing, you get different options. You get different wing types. You get different propeller types, and on the clear sprues you get different canopy types as well. It is worth noting that on these, I know that Beacon Models did ask the tool makers to address some of the sort of imperfections. There are some little sort of manufacture marks on the wings there, which you might just be able to see. A little bit disappointing, but I did build the Mk.1A version without the cannons, and that one didn't have the same problems. So there are a few little scuffs and things from where it's been manufactured, but they are manageable. From previous build of this, there is a little bit of flash in a few places, but generally speaking, I found the build of these model kits, having done them previously, and I've got the Spitfire here from the original boxing, I found the kit to be rather enjoyable, fairly simple to do, and you can make quick progress. Let's very quickly take a look at the clear parts. So you get two lots of the same thing in there, three different canopies. I think there's like a photo reconnaissance version, a early version, and the normal Mk.1A version. And again, they were molded to a good quality. The real benefit, of course, is that you have canopy masks included. So these are your mask instructions, and the canopy masks just made masking that canopy so much easier when I did it, when I built the original boxing, and they were cut to a really nice standard. And then decals from Cartograph, and you have all of the relevant decals that you need for both variants included in the box. As they're printed by Cartograph, there shouldn't be any blemishes or scuffs or tears, and I found actually applying the original version of the decals to the kit when I built it here, they went on really nicely. So that was the Spitfire. That's the first bit to look at. I hope you've all got a cup of tea, because this may be a slightly long video because we've got quite a bit to talk about actually. So these, I'll put that all away in a minute. These are the second sort of release. They were done on Kickstarter. So all of mine came as sort of pre-orders. I'm not aware that these are currently available for sale at the time I'm making this video, but they should be up for sale soon. So we're going to have a quick look inside this one as well. And again, this should be basically the same deal. It should be the same sprues that we saw in the original video. Instructions are all printed in colour with lots of information in there. The assembly is relatively straightforward. Lovely in full colour. We do have different options here for sort of underslung armament, and it does give you information on how to use them and what you should be doing with them, and even where transfers might go on them. And then here we've got our 2 painting instructions, which is always great to see that in colour. And then here we have our 2 sprues, which seem to be of the same quality that we looked at previously. And again, inside of there are Pwit masks and cartograph decals, and I can see them all in there. So yeah, I'm not going to get that out because it's basically the same as we saw in the commissioning box from the original release, but just with different paint schemes. So those were the 2 newest versions of the box. 2 Bf109s and 2 Spitfires, all with different paint schemes. But there were a few extras, so they've decided that they want to go into exploring the additional variants that they have. So there are now some bagged versions. So let's see if we can go through all the 109s first. I'm not going to get them all out because it's going to be the same tools, it's going to be the same kit. Naturally, these bagged versions will retail at a cheaper price. I'm not currently aware of what that price is because I got mine all, as mentioned, as a pre-order as part of a Kickstarter. And usually when you support a Kickstarter, you get them slightly cheaper than they would be in the shop because you are sort of supporting them early. But here we've got an E7 Trop version. They call it the Hanger Edition. So that's the 2 ways that they identify the kits. The sort of proper boxing is the Commissioning Edition, and it's got your masks and your decals, and it's got 2 kits in there. Whereas in this one, you only get 1 plastic sprue. So if you look on that side, you can see we've got the exact same 109 sprue as we've seen previously, but you only get 1 of them. So you can only build 1 model from this. You do get the choice of 2 paint schemes in an E7, so it's got the tropical filter. The parts naturally are included for that. You do get the decals for both versions, but you only get 1 kit, so you can't build both versions. There is also worth noting that there's no canopy masks included in here, which will make it a little bit more difficult, but I have been told by Beacon Models that they're actually looking at getting the Pwit masks as a separate accessory, which you could buy like as an aftermarket add-on if you wanted to. So yeah, so an E7 can be built from this kit, and I quite like the look of that one down there. We also have, let's put that away. We also have another E3 or E4 version. We've got 2 different paint schemes to choose from compared to the other one we were looking at. And again, exactly the same kind of thing in the bag. There's also another E7 version for the slightly later version of the email, and it has 2 slightly more complicated paint schemes, and you can see the contents there. And then we have an early version, so an E1, which will use the early wing, which is the one without the cannons there, and potentially a 2-bladed prop. Has it got a 2-bladed prop? 3-blade? I don't think it has. No, it only has a 3-bladed prop by the looks of it. So this is still a, yeah, you can see on the artwork there, it's a 3-bladed prop. For the E1, I think it might have been like the C version had a 2-bladed prop. So yeah, so you get a choice of either of these. So those are the variants of the Messerschmitt Bf109. We'll have a quick look at the variants for the Spitfire. So here we've got Mark II, and the Mark II comes with 1 of these, well, 2 of these options. You have a green and grey or brown and green. And if we flip over, you can see it's the same sprue as was included previously. There's no changes other than the decals. Again, no masks are included in these sort of hanger editions. There's another Mk.1A, which is green and brown or green and grey. And again, if we flip over, you can see there's 1 included and cartograph decals and all the instructions in there. So I don't know which one I would do. I'd probably go for that one. And then we've got a pink version. This is a photo reconnaissance Spitfire. So that will use the more blistered canopy. And you can go for an all pink, or you can go for a camouflage upper with a pink lower side. I'll probably go for that one. Information about the actual Spitfire there. And again, if we flip over, you can see clear parts, the main sprue, the decals are in there as well. And then the last one is a early version of the Spitfire, which again, two different choices of paint scheme, but this one you will need a two-bladed prop and the flattened canopy, which naturally are included as options. You can see we have the two-bladed prop there, and the flat canopy will be on the sprue because there's three up there. Again, cartograph decals included. So yeah, those are all the new kits. I'm aware I supported them on Kickstarter, so I went for the tier which had all of the new models. But when you support them on Kickstarter, you tend to get a few extra bits and pieces. So the first extra that we were sent out is this. This is, it doesn't look like much at the moment, but this is actually going to be a desk tidy. Once I've built it up, it turns into a little tray and you can put all your tools inside of it. There was a small issue with this one, that a certain part was designed wrong, but they realized very quickly, I mean, I haven't even built mine, and they sent out the replacement part. I have got the replacement part, it is here. So corrected end piece there. But if you were to get this, I think you might be able to get the desk tidy as an extra sort of part. I believe this has now been installed correctly in the pack, so they know. But because mine was such an early release, I had to get this one sent out separate. But they did it without even me asking them. So that's that bit. Just like with the previous Kickstarter, there were some art prints. So we've got an art print of the Spitfire, and it says down here, the Few Part 2, because that's what they call in their sort of range that they released. The first one was the Few Part 1. This is the Few Part 2. 2024. Without your patience and support, none of this would be possible. To all of our wonderful backers, we extend our sincerest thanks. And then there are the three guys who are responsible for bringing Beacon models to life. And then on the other side, I have a artwork for the Bf109, and I'll probably put those both in frames and put them on my wall. It's not double-sided, it's just two pictures. They've just put them back to back inside the plastic bag. And then there was an extra bonus that came with mine because of the tier that I selected. And the first one was a little lighter in a little display box. This is a sort of laser etched product, and it just has the Few on there, and this would be quite handy on your workbench because you could use it to stretch your sprue if you were going to use that. Naturally, there's no lighter fluid in there, that would have to be filled up by myself. But yeah, so there's that one. Let's put that away. And then the very last thing to take a look at as a little extra is this nice enamel mug, which comes with a print of the Few on it. Very nice indeed. So yeah, those are all the new 2024 releases. Naturally, by the time you see this video, it'll probably be 2025. At the time I'm making this video, I'm not sure where or when these kits are going to be available for general sale, for general purchase. So I would recommend keeping an eye on their website. Additionally, I don't really know what the prices are going to be, but if the old boxing, you know, the previous one we looked at, which was this one, the double set, these were around £22. So I would imagine that this one and this one would be around the same sort of price, whereas the ones in the plastic bags, the hanger editions, like this, they will be a little bit cheaper. But yeah, I was quite excited to have them and have a go. I have built the 109 and Spitfire from this boxing, and I found it to be very enjoyable builds, and they, as you can probably see, they build up quite nicely. I did all of mine mostly hand painted, and the canopy masks that are included in the kits come up really nice as well. But it'll be nice to have a little variation, almost like a whole squadron of different Spitfires, which I'm probably going to do them all in one go, and then do like a video on the Spitfires and a video on the 109s. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the new additions to the Beacon models range, and any of these sort of products they manage to sell helps to encourage more funds to go into the next projects that they're working on. So they're working on more aircraft from the Battle of Britain in 144th scale. So I think stuff like the Blenheim, the Heinkel 111, the Bolton Pool Defiant, the Hawker Hurricane, Dornier 17, Ju-87 Stuka. So if you want to support them, please do take a look at their website and perhaps pick up a couple of kits to try out. But yeah, so that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me on the workbench today. As always, let me know what you thought of my review down in the comments, whether my assessment of these kits was fair. As always, a quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. Massive thanks to these guys on screen. And if you'd like to join them, take a look at the links in the description. And there are other ways to help support the channel if you'd like to do so. And again, full information is under the video. To make sure you don't miss any modelling uploads, make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on. And finally, the last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.